Are you one of those people who suffer from electromagnetic hypersensitivity, fatigue, tiredness, stress, brain fog, aches, and pains? What if I told you that you can soak your way into serenity? Soak in Serenity, our new herbal bath formula, is known to soothe anxiety, relieve stress and fatigue in just one bath. Visit our store at blacksunrise.com/herbs-page. Remember to spell sunrise SONRISE. Welcome back to another segment of your global Black News. And in today's article, we take it from npr.org. And this, I think, is great, but the number is not enough. Central Park 5 win $40 million from New York City for false convictions. It's not enough. They should have, at minimum, gotten $200 million each. New York City has reportedly agreed to pay $40 million to settle with 5 men who were falsely convicted of the 1989 rape and beating of a jogger in Central Park, a case that drew national attention. The 5 Black and Hispanic defendants who became known as the Central Park 5 were found guilty in 1990 as teenagers for the attack on a white woman. They served from 6 to 12 years before their convictions were overturned in 2002 when evidence, like real evidence, came to light that another lone perpetrator was responsible. Antron McCrae, Kevin Richardson, Raymond Santana, and Yusuf Salam were imprisoned just shy of 7 years, while Carrie Wise served nearly 13, says the New York Daily News. The jogger, Tricia Maley, who was 28 years old at the time of the assault, was hit in the head with a rock, nearly ripping her left eye from its socket, and raped and left with skull fractures so severe she was in a coma for 6 weeks. As the newspapers howled for arrests of the marauding teens, and then Mayor Ed Koch called it crime of the century, real estate Donald Trump took out ads calling for the return of the death penalty. Trump wanted criminals of every age involved in the Central Park jogger case to be afraid. The Central Park 5 say they never attacked Maley. They and their lawyers maintain police railroaded them, don't I know, into making incriminating statements against themselves and each other. The 5 had originally sought $250 million from the city in a civil lawsuit. Didn't I just say they should have gotten $200 million? Mayor Mike Bloomberg's administration argued that the city and police acted with probable cause. When it comes to Black people in New York City, it's always probable cause. But Bloomberg's successor, Bill de Blasio, had promised during his campaign last year to put the divisive issue to rest if elected. The Reverend Al Sharpton said in a statement quoted by the Associated Press that the settlement was a monumental victory for the men and their families. It is also a victory for those in the community that stood with them from day one and believed in their innocence in this case. Where's Al Sharpton when I need him with the police brutality on the 3 or 4 mayoral administrations in New York? Give me a break. Anyway, so what are we going to say about this article? I'm very happy that they won. I know what it is to be wrongfully accused of something you wouldn't even think about doing. It doesn't just happen to Black men. It happens to Black women too. Wrongfully being accused and you're left standing there like... Black Sunrise. Waking the masses off their asses. What? And you just look at these people. In my case, it was the criminal cartel of Brooklyn Tabernacle and the other criminal cartel of Times Square Church, the religious mafias that run them both. And they came after me and accused me of all sorts of stuff. And I ended up blacklisted for 5 years in New York City. Couldn't find a job, couldn't work, nothing implanted today. I still get abused from the public when I go outside. There are hidden cameras in my home that I have to go find money to find these cameras, to remove these cameras. They hacked my computer, hacked my phone looking for, I don't know what evidence they're looking for. Meanwhile, the sex trafficking inside of Times Square Church, none of them are getting arrested. The countless abuse of children from Teen Challenge, which was started by David Wilkerson of Times Square Church, they don't get arrested. There are thousands of children who were abused. Some were killed in Teen Challenge. Teen Challenge started by David Wilkerson. None of them in that church was arrested. But little old me, lies and slander that I face. So I know all too well what these young men went through. Very happy that they won something, but they should have gotten 200 million. Because when mine is international, the damage they did to me is international. The damage they did to these young men, they ruined their lives as a child. They were thrown into prison, and I know how wicked some of these police officers are. They will gladly throw you into prison or set you up to throw you into a mental institution just to cover up for the fact that they were bribed to do so in New York. So it's a lot of corruption. Not surprised this happened, but when we look at these things, don't just think it's just men, black men, and Hispanic men, boys they're doing it to. It's black women too. All right, guys. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of your Global Black News. Join us for another segment as we talk about black issues from around the globe.